Hi, welcome back to Sonic Salvage. If you own a vintage Pioneer CD player from the 80s, 90s, or even early 2000s, and whether it's a standard budget model or higher end model like this PDS-801, or even their flagship reference series, they all had a major flaw. So if you do own one of these players, don't just throw it in the skip if it stopped reading discs. On these particular players, instead of the CD reading the disc from underneath, it actually sits inverted and looks down on top of the disc and reads it from the top. So you actually put the disc in upside down. Feels so weird putting it in like that. Now, as you can see, it's not reading discs. In fact, it's making no noise. You can hear the laser's not even trying to spin up. And now let's rewind. I'm going to show you when I first got this CD player in a week or so ago, and I opened up the tray for the first time. This is exactly what happened. Now that right there is, yep, you've guessed it, the CD lens. Now genuinely, I haven't placed this laser lens here. This is how I found it when I opened the tray. The reason for this is because of the stable platter and the fact that the laser's pointing downwards, it has nowhere to go and drops into the tray. On most players that are just conventional, what you'll find is the lens will be buried somewhere in the CD player itself. You'll just hear it rattling around and you have to hunt for it. Right, let's get the lid off and I can show you exactly where it's failed and how to fix it. Right, the first thing to do is to undo all these ribbon cables. Now there's one here which just gently pulls up very carefully, and then there's two more down here which, again, you have to be very careful with these cables. Never pull them by the wires themselves. You can use a screwdriver or just gently from the actual base. You may be wondering why this only affects Pioneer CD players and not other makes from the same sort of era like Sony, Technics and Kenwood. Well, what Pioneer tried to do back in the day was be a little bit clever and use a UV cured glue that dried very fast and sped up manufacturing times, obviously saving them money. Now the problem is 30 or 40 years later, this glue has just turned pretty much to dust. It's so brittle and it's breaking and failing all the time. Now the last thing we need to do before we take the mech out, or just turn it over in this case to get access to the laser, is undo this ground wire at the back. Most players will have a similar wire which you must undo. Now in nearly all other Pioneer CD players it's going to be much easier to get to the laser lens. There's normally a little clamp on top that holds the disc, and that's just one or two screws. Just pulls up and you straight away got access to the laser lens. And now we've turned the mech over, we can see that's where the laser should be sitting. But of course, like I said, the glue's got dry and it's fallen out. So what we need to do is to glue this lens back in. Now, a couple of quick pointers. I've done this a few times and it does work and it's pretty easy. But you do have to be careful. A, don't use super glue. If you do, it can cloud the lens when it basically dries, the gases that come off of it, cloud the lens up, then you're buggered. There's nothing you can do then. You can't get that off. The other thing is you can use, like, I've seen people use wood glue, epoxy. I mean, they're okay. That's better. But I use this EvoStick Serious Glue. It's a flexible polymer glue that handles mechanical vibrations and is the perfect consistency. It's just thick enough that it won't drip down into the electrics while you're applying it, and it dries nice and clear. The first thing we want to do now is get a cotton bud, dip it in some IPA, preferably 99%, and give this a good clean to get rid of all the residue of the old glue. You may need to use your fingernails or something else soft to scrape the tough bits off. Just going to give it a little dry so we don't have any moisture on it. Now we need to clean the housing where the lens actually sits. Very gently, do not push hard. Don't over soak the cotton bud, as you don't want any really dripping down and getting into any of the electronics. I know IPA dries pretty fast, but it's still not a great idea, especially around the laser. Now you really don't need much glue at all, just a tiny blob on a piece of cardboard or paper. And I think the best thing you can apply it with is a toothpick or something similar like this. It won't scratch anything and it's quite precise. Now get your hand steady, because this is the trickiest part of the whole thing. You want to apply a very thin layer around the sort of top outer edge. You really don't need to use much. Now the lens must go in the right way. It will have a dome shape on top, and at the bottom it will go into a flanged ridge. Get some tweezers or some thin needle nose pliers and gently drop it into the laser housing. Now you can use another toothpick, or similar to what you used before, obviously a clean one without glue on the end, just to gently put it across the lens and push it down and make sure it's seated down flat. Then don't touch the lens or anywhere around it for a good couple of hours to let the glue dry. Now while we've got access to the mech, I'm going to give it a little quick service, starting with cleaning the laser LED rails. Just use a bit of IPA to get rid of the old sticky gunk. This one doesn't actually seem too bad. Try to avoid using oil on these sleds as it just attracts dirt. The best stuff to use is synthetic grease. And now we'll just quickly do the same to the worm gear. And lastly, we'll just clean the laser lens, especially where we've been touching it with our fingers. You can just use IPA or glass cleaner for this. Make sure you buff it off with the other end, as sometimes IPA dries a little bit cloudy. I'd normally put a drop of oil into the spindle motor, but this seems smooth and fine. And now we're just going to put everything back in reverse. The 3 screws mounting the mech, the 2 wires to the right of the mech, the ribbon cable above the mech, and the ground cable. If this video has helped you today, then I'd really appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel and giving me a like. It's a small channel and I'm just trying to build it up. We're planning to do a lot more videos in future. Imagine if it didn't work after saying all that. And now I guess we'll find out. I've plugged it back in. Power on. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Yay! Loads up nice and quick, sounded very smooth. Yep, it's playing. Doesn't seem to be skipping. It's just forward a track. Brilliant. And here's a close-up of the stable platter mechanism from the top. We can see the laser scanning across the disc. Put the casing back on now, and here it is in all its glory, all working as good as new, sat on my side. If you have any questions or you've had a Pioneer CD player with this issue, let me know in the comments, and until next time, goodbye.